Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. I'm Jennifer, and as always, I'm joined by my amazing co-host, Elizabeth. How's it going today, Elizabeth?
Hi, Jennifer. I'm doing great, thank you. I'm really excited about today's topic because it's something that everyone needs to master when speaking English: how to express opinions and, importantly, how to agree or disagree politely.
That's right. Expressing your opinion is a fundamental part of communication, whether you're at work, chatting with friends, or participating in a discussion. But it's not just about what you say, it's about how you say it. Being able to agree or disagree politely can make a big difference in how your message is received.
Absolutely. We've all been in situations where we need to share our thoughts or respond to someone else's opinions. Knowing how to do that in a respectful and clear way is essential, especially in English where tone and word choice can convey a lot of subtle meanings.
Exactly. And today, we'll be covering some key phrases and strategies to help you express your opinions confidently while still being polite. Plus, we'll talk about how to agree or disagree in a way that maintains positive relationships.
But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And if you find our content helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Your support means a lot to us and helps us keep creating these videos for you.
And if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover, be sure to leave a comment below. We love hearing from you.
So, Jennifer, let's start with expressing opinions. One of the most common ways to do this is by using the phrase, "in my opinion," or "I think." These phrases are straightforward and polite, making them perfect for almost any situation.
Yes, in my opinion, is a great way to gently introduce your thoughts. For example, you might say, "In my opinion, this movie was really well done," or "I think the new policy will be beneficial for our team." It's a clear and respectful way to share what you think.
And another variation is "I believe," which can sound a bit stronger than "I think," but it's still polite. For instance, "I believe that everyone should have access to quality education," or "I believe this approach could really help our project."
That's a good point, Elizabeth. "I believe" shows a bit more conviction, so it's useful when you're confident about your opinion but still want to remain polite. Now, what if you want to agree with someone's opinion? How do you do that politely?
A simple way to agree is by saying "I agree with you" or "I completely agree." These phrases are direct and show that you're on the same page. For example, "I agree with you, the presentation was very informative," or "I completely agree, this is a great opportunity for our team."
Right, and you can also soften your agreement a bit with phrases like, "I think you're right," or "That's a good point." These are especially useful when you want to acknowledge someone's opinion while still leaving room for additional discussion.
Yes, and it's also important to know how to partially agree. Sometimes you might agree with part of what someone says but not the whole thing. In these cases, you can say, "I agree with you to some extent," or "I see where you're coming from, but..."
That's a great tip, Elizabeth. Partial agreement can help you navigate complex discussions where you don't want to fully commit to one side. Now, what about when you disagree with someone? How can you do that without sounding rude?
Disagreeing politely is crucial, especially in professional or sensitive conversations. One way to disagree politely is by using the phrase "I'm not sure I agree" or "I see it differently." For example, "I'm not sure I agree with that approach," or "I see it differently, I think we should consider other options."
Another polite way to disagree is by saying, "I understand your point," but this phrase acknowledges the other person's perspective before you introduce your own. For example, "I understand your point, but I think we need more data before making a decision."
That's a great strategy, Jennifer. It shows that you're listening and considering the other person's opinion, even if you don't fully agree. You can also use "I respect your opinion, but," which is particularly useful in more formal or delicate situations.
Exactly. And don't forget about body language and tone. Even if your words are polite, if your tone is harsh or your body language is closed off, it can come across as rude. Make sure you're using a calm, friendly tone and open body language when you're disagreeing with someone.
That's a very important point, Jennifer. Politeness isn't just about the words you choose, it's also about how you deliver them. Now, let's switch gears a bit and talk about how to handle it when someone disagrees with you.
Great idea, Elizabeth. When someone disagrees with you, it's important to stay calm and open-minded. You can respond politely by saying, "I appreciate your feedback," or "That's an interesting perspective." These phrases show that you're open to hearing other opinions.
Yes, and if you still believe in your original point, you can say, "I see what you're saying, but I still think." This allows you to acknowledge the other person's viewpoint while standing by your own opinion.
Absolutely. And if the disagreement is getting heated, it might be a good idea to suggest taking a break or revisiting the discussion later. You could say, "Maybe we should take some time to think about this and discuss it again tomorrow." This can help de-escalate the situation.
That's a really practical approach, Jennifer. It's all about keeping the conversation respectful and constructive, even when you don't see eye to eye.
Oh, it looks like we have a caller. Let's take the call. Hi there, you're on the air with Jennifer and Elizabeth. What's your name, and where are you calling from?
Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Elizabeth. My name is Michael, and I'm calling from Sydney, Australia. I love your channel, and I've learned so much from your videos. I wanted to share a little story about how I handle disagreements at work.
Hi, Michael. It's great to hear from you. Thanks for calling in. We'd love to hear your story.
Well, I work in a pretty diverse team, and sometimes we have different opinions on how to approach a project. At first, I found it really challenging to disagree politely, especially because I didn't want to offend anyone. But I started using phrases like, "I see your point," but, and "I think we could also consider." And it's really helped keep our discussions positive and productive.
That's a fantastic example, Michael. It's all about framing your disagreement in a way that's constructive rather than confrontational. It sounds like you've found a great balance.
Yes, and it's great that you've noticed a difference in how your team responds. Do you have any tips for our listeners who might be struggling with this?
I would say, always listen first. Even if you don't agree, hearing the other person out shows respect and can sometimes change your perspective. And don't be afraid to take a moment to think before you respond. It's better to be thoughtful than to say something you might regret.
That's excellent advice, Michael. Taking a moment to think before responding is so important, especially in tense situations. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us.
Yes, thank you, Michael. We really appreciate your call, and it's great to hear how you're applying these skills in your daily life. Keep up the good work.
Thank you both. I'll keep watching your videos. Have a great day.
You too, Michael. Take care.
Bye, Michael.
That was such a valuable insight from Michael. It's always helpful to hear real-life examples of how these strategies work in practice.
Definitely. It just goes to show that with the right approach, you can navigate even the trickiest conversations with confidence and respect.
So, Elizabeth, what are some other phrases our listeners can use to express their opinions or disagree politely?
Another good phrase is "from my perspective," which can be used when you want to share your viewpoint without sounding too forceful. For example, "From my perspective, this method is more efficient." It's a way to assert your opinion while still leaving room for others.
That's a great one. And for those moments when you want to agree but add something extra, you can use, "I agree and I'd like to add." This allows you to contribute to the conversation while still showing support for the other person's opinion.
Yes, and if you need to disagree but want to keep things light, you can say, "I see what you mean, but..." This phrase is a gentle way to introduce a different opinion without shutting down the conversation.
All of these phrases are so useful, and they really highlight the importance of being both clear and considerate when expressing your thoughts.
Absolutely. And for our viewers, remember that practice makes perfect. The more you use these phrases, the more natural they'll become, and the more confident you'll feel in your conversations.
And don't forget, tone and body language play a huge role in how your words are received. A smile, a calm tone, and open body language can make even a disagreement feel positive.
That's so true, Jennifer. Communication is about more than just words, it's about the whole package.
And speaking of communication, if you're enjoying this conversation and finding these tips helpful, be sure to like the video and share it with others. Your support helps us keep bringing you valuable content.
And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. We've got a lot more great content coming your way.
So, before we wrap up, let's do a quick recap of today's tips. First, use phrases like, in my opinion, and I think, to express your thoughts clearly and politely. For agreeing, try, I agree with you, or that's a good point. And when you need to disagree, use, I'm not sure I agree, or I see it differently.
And don't forget, if someone disagrees with you, respond with phrases like, I appreciate your feedback, or that's an interesting perspective. It's all about keeping the conversation respectful and open.
And as always, practice makes perfect. The more you use these strategies, the more comfortable and effective you'll become at expressing your opinions in English.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Keep practicing your English, and remember, polite communication is key to building strong, positive relationships.
We'll see you in the next video. Take care and happy learning.
Bye for now.